Hey, witches. Something weird is happening. Yeah. And now we're back. Chapter 5. Um, yeah. 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 And it's kind of the same too as like the nobility still don't respect them. They still don't view them as anything more than like animals or people. Yeah. Yeah. And on chapter or page 44 and 45, Vin is in the street and she's kind of dealing with Kelsier's mess. Like he, if you remember, created like almost a religion around himself. Um, yeah. And these people were like worshiping him, and now they are have moved on to Vin, and they're calling her Lady Heir because she is the heir of the survivor in their mind. Yeah, because she survived and she's the new like Mistborn to protect them in their mind for some reason. Yeah, and it's like
uses that too. I mean, we'll see throughout like the text that he's like, well, that's not what Kelsier would do. Kelsier would do this, but I'm no Mistborn. I can't do that. And it's like
right.
ind- individual individuality.
Yeah. And so we learn that she's on the street and like doing all of this because she's on her way to like a dog seller, basically.
Yeah. Which I was like, why are we getting a dog of all things? I mean, I got the gist of it when like specifically with what she was asking. I got that. But
But this man who was trying to sell her the dog as being a complete dickhead, and he's like basically trying to sell her all of the little bitty,
she should just take them all.
right, um, the little bitty baby dogs, and then she's like, nope, I want a wolfhound, and he's like, okay, here's the runt of the litter, and she's like, no, bitch, I want the big one, like,
Yeah, and the baby, the like runt of the litter was like this sweet, cuddly little
yeah,
thing, and she's like, "No, I want something vicious, like rip my hand off, kind of vicious."
yeah, um, and so basically she knocks out the dog by burning pewter. and is like, give me a leash, and she takes it.
Yeah, she like walks to this pin, and this thing like turns on her as if it's like about to attack. And then she just punches it, and it's like, all right, here we go. And I'm like, bro,
And then she just
okay,
picks it up and carries it out.
that's one way to do it, but like, girl, take the other one too.
Take all of them.
Oh,
And rescue them
take the other one
all.
too. Like, you gotta have something to cuddle when the other one is out, you know, tearing things up. And that's kind of what I thought she was doing. Like, there is an army right outside.
Yeah.
Not that, like, I assumed she was gonna, like, set it free. Like, all right, go do all these things, like, and basically, like, sacrifice it. I legitimately thought she was gonna train it to be, like, her right-hand man kind of thing. Like,
I mean, no.
okay, she took a different route, and I'm very upset with it, okay?
I was as well.
I was like, that shit pisses me off.
I was like, not the dog.
Yeah, I was like, all right, that honestly really irks me. Like, Vin could have taken them both, loved them both at the castle, kept one for the army, it would have been fine. But this bitch
feeds it to
that.
the Kendra.
Yeah, just drops it off in front of him, and he's like, excuse me? She goes, there you go, get to work. And it's like, okay, first of all, you're sacrificing an animal, which I get it. This is the time where all lives for themselves. She grew up on the streets, like, focusing on her. She didn't have a luxury of an animal like some people do. But damn.
Yep. And
you freed this bitch, and now you're just gonna kill it?
Yeah, and the Kendra is being super sassy about it too. He's like, first of all, he's kind of insulted that she brought him a dog. And then she's like, this package came for me today.
If I had to eat bones and flesh and all that to make it look like it, like,
yeah,
give me something not like that.
I can't even imagine that situation to begin with. But he's like, she's like, this package came for me today, and he's like, yep, a few hours ago. And she's like, and you didn't tell me? And he says, I'm sorry, mistress, but you did not command me to tell you if packages arrived. Like, he's just being so fucking sassy.
Yeah, because, and what led to that was he was basically defiant on eating the dog. And she was like, okay, then I command you to do it. Get going.
Right.
Just being a dick. And he was like,
yeah. Ugh.
ugh. So yeah. And she just goes and lets her do her thing.
Yeah, just leaves the Kendra alone and lets it go and goes to find Elend.
And Elend is having a meeting with Dox, and Dox would be a great king. He's like that secretary. He's like that advisor, like that lead advisor.
Yeah. I'm just cracking up about the perfume comment. Because Ellen's like, that's a new perfume you're wearing. And she's like, it's dog.
Which I do like that is one thing that she has kept from her, like, Lady Renew, or Vin Renew, or Valette.
Valette, yeah.
Days. Kind of, I don't know, it's like a nice mixture. Like, she didn't lose that title just to immediately, like, swallow back into the reclusive, shady days. So it's nice to see her kind of combine both of them. Even though she's having identity crisis, it's still
nice
to see, I guess.
Yeah. And then there's kind of a oh my gosh, my brain is not doing the things today. Like foreshadowing
right now.
Yeah.
That's me 24/7.
Yeah, well, that sucks.
And I know.
Because there's some foreshadowing, and it's like Elend says, uh, my father always kept a Kendra, but or sort of something at least. Please promise me you'll take him with you. But just that little comment there, um, is kind of foreshadowing to something we're going to talk about here in a little bit.
It's actually like so subtle. You're just like, oh yeah, that's happened before, like whatever, and then it just hits you, and you're like,
Yeah.
like. But Ham comes around, and Ham's back from wherever the fuck he's been. It's kind of one of those things that everyone's gone doing something. You don't really know where they're at, what are they doing. They're just not around. They're just here and there and everywhere. But Ham is essentially like, look, you need to go practice. It's time you practice. It's time you do this. Like, you can't always depend on this, which is so true. Which is probably why people who are very good at one thing can only do that one thing because they don't practice anything else.
Right. But while they're talking with Ham, she decides to try the new alloy that she got in her package. And nothing happens.
Which she feels the reserve, so she knows it's sitting there, but like the last time something similar to this happened, she actually lost all of her reserves upon not necessarily burning it. Was it when she was burning it she lost all the reserves, or like as soon as she swallowed it, it immediately just got rid of everything?
I don't remember.
But they're trying to find different alloys, essentially. Kind of like the 11th metal, they're just trying to find options
Yeah.
for this. And it's duraluminum?
Yep. And so they finally think they found the appropriate alloy, but she doesn't know what it does yet.
She needs to figure it the fuck out. Don't be trying it.
She does need to figure it out, and then she needs to practice it before she tries to use it in a real situation. But she's Vin.
In the protagonist of a story, like that's not ever going to happen in a
Yeah.
story. It's always going to be used when you need it the most, and you're going to be like, what the fuck?
Exactly. But that's all I have for chapter 5.
So they are gonna head off and go spar, and Elend's gonna go with them.
Yeah.
What's going on?
He's gonna be like watching them spar. And then somebody walks up to Elend and is like, my money's on the girl, because they're watching Ham and Vin spar. And so he's like, I bet on the girl, basically. And it is clubs.
What is clubs? What does he do?
He's the smoker.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Clubs just walks up to him and immediately says, yeah, I'm voting on Vin. Like, are you gonna vote against her, or are you just not gonna play?
Yeah. And then he's like, they're only sparring, blah, 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 blah. And then he does bet, finally. He puts the money down. And then they're talking about Spook. because he left a wood carving on Club's doorstep. Um, and he's kind of in that like dickhead teenager mode now.
He's gotten old enough to like be a part of everything, but
Yeah.
he's
So he left a note that was like, "I just wanted to show you what real carpenters are up to, old man." Um, but then all of a sudden, one of the soldiers walks up and puts another coin on the railing and says, "My money's on Vin too." And it's Spook.
and it's funny because they have such like a love-hate relationship. Like he's just like, "What's your problem, old man?" And he goes, "You're just insolent. You're an insolent lad."
Yeah. But I'm cracking up because, like, first of all, he's grown up a little bit, but now all of a sudden he just speaks like perfect English. Like,
I know. I was like, "Who the fuck is this dude?"
right, because you'll remember in the last book, for those who aren't like reading it now and don't remember, he talked really weird. Like, there's an example in here. Um, wasn't aware of calling out. And, like, what the fuck does that mean?
But I just want to know what Brandon Sanderson was thinking when he was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna put these words together. And it's gonna mean something. I don't know what, but it's gonna mean something to this dude." Like,
Yeah.
I want to know like the thought process. Like, how do these people make up Elvish? How did this person make up like a Klingon? Like,
Yeah, like make up a whole language in their
how
story.
long did it take you?
I don't have time to even. That
What
makes
is
my
an
head hurt
adjective?
just to
What is an
think about it.
adverb? Yeah, and that's what I said. I was like, first of all, like other than Ellen's like whole little viewpoint because he is like watching Vin like a promiscuous man.
Yeah.
Uh but he's also trying to decipher what the fuck Spook is saying. So he's just looking dumbfounded right now. And I'm like, to be honest, I always hurt. Like my brain always hurts just trying to think about what he's saying. What's calling out? Like
Yeah.
you were close to being here, you just didn't leave a message. Like, and he struggled to even speak any other language after the like in the last book. So where did he go to learn all of this so quickly, so fluently without, because he's supposed to be a spy. Like he's supposed to like infiltrate, right? In a way.
Yeah. My best guess would be, well, I have two thoughts. One, he could always speak fluently and he just chose not to because of his like he's like an anxious kid. Or two, it was one of the terrorist men that helped
Mm,
him.
I kind of wonder too if like maybe that was his, like since that was his like not necessarily language, but like dialect basically, that was his first dialect, that's just kind of like where he was comfortable.
Right.
But it has
Um,
been a year, so like a lot has happened since the last book to now, so
right. Um, but he basically tells Ellen that there's not good news where he was either, that he thinks someone is spreading the rumor that the adium is in Luthadel. Um,
yeah, because someone's spreading some rumors intentionally, it looks like.
yeah, and so that's what he tells Ellen, and then they start watching Vin and Ham again, and I am cracking up at the nicknames between Clubs and Spook because what page is that on? 68. So Vin wins and Clubs gets his money and Spook is like, where's my money? And he's like, where'd it go? Uh
when he's like pouring a drink.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, Uncle Irritable. He says, you paid Uncle Irritable, why not me? At the bottom of page 68.
and yeah, and then Vin's like, wait, you bet against me? I didn't mean it. Clubs bullied me, and then Clubs just snorted at that moment, down the rest of his juice, and held it up for a refill. And then when Vin didn't respond, he turned to Spook and gave the boy a telling scowl. Finally, Spook sighed, picking up the jug. And then he's like, Ham goes, I'd be careful, Elend. She can hit pretty hard. Ellen's like, I should know better than to antagonize her when there are weapons lying around. Obviously, he like voted against her. And then, we see a flash of envy in Spook's eyes.
Yeah, we do.
And I kind of want to know about that, because that's some drama. Like, listen, whenever Breeze comes into the picture, like, I adore him. He's like the gay uncle no everyone wants. He's the one that brings the drama. He brings the sass. Like, he serves cunt. Like, that's what I want. And,
yeah.
like, feel a little jealous, bro? Like, tell me about it. I want to hear it all. Like, spill the tape.
Right. And then he goes on to talk about how he, like, needs to get himself a woman and
he walks away grumbly.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a god-awful beard this entire
Yeah,
time.
like a disguise.
Like,
a beard is a disguise. Yeah. And Vin keeps making fun of him for it.
Yeah, because she didn't pour him a drink, and he goes, "Hey, what about me?" She's like, "That beard looks terrible on you. I'm not doing it."
Then she goes back with Elend to her rooms, and Ursula is there in the dog body, the wolfhound body, and I still don't know how I feel about the whole Kendra thing. They freak me out, and
I don't mind it at all. Only because if somebody died, what fucking use are you going to use of that body? None.
Right. No, and that's
or
one
if
thing.
you have, like, a willing participant, like, yo, use my body. Kelsier, for instance. He
right.
would totally do it. Like, that's one thing. Getting an innocent animal, regardless of how fucking mean that shit is, bro.
Yeah. Well, and, like, I think also the whole contract thing, like, he doesn't like Vin.
No.
And she doesn't like him. He doesn't want to be working for her. Like, it's all very ick.
Yeah, it's like a not consensual contract.
Yeah. On either one of them. Neither one of them want it.
Yeah, and maybe we have read it somewhere and I'm just not remembering, but, like, I guess I don't really remember why Orsur does not like her.
I do not recall.
She's not Kelsier, but we all know she doesn't like him because
he ate Kelsier.
Yeah. And he could have told the group and he didn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't either, but that is chapter 6.
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7. We're back to Sazed again. Sazed. I do that every time.
It's like me with Elend. I'm like, Elend? Elend sounds better. Elend? No.
Yeah. Poor Sazed. Just poor Sazed. Like, he is just trying to teach these people, and they just don't give a fuck. They just don't care.
They really don't. They're just like, look, I'm just trying to make my next meal here.
Yeah, and so
living lavishly. Don't talk to me about anything.
He's like, basically done teaching them, but then all of a sudden somebody is like yelling for him, and it's like a woman who's running, and she's kind of freaking out, and she's like, he's come back, he's come for us. And Sazed's like, who? Like, what? And she says, the Lord Ruler.
Which really threw me off. I was like,
I said, excuse me, what the fuck? That's literally what I wrote down.
I was like, ain't no way he's back. If he's back, bring Kelsey back.
Right? Like, if he's back, I'm over. I'm done. I don't even want to read it anymore.
Like, it better be the Ghost of Christmas Past. If he's back, he better be telling us all about your mistakes and how you should have remedied it.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
But it's not the Lord Ruler. It is a Steel Inquisitor. Which are the things of fucking nightmares. Like, the whole steel, like, spikes through the eyeballs thing really freaks me out. And, like, why does it seem like they can still see? I don't understand.
So, okay, when we first read Mistborn, and I imagined the Steel Inquisitors, you know how sometimes your brain just immediately goes to like the most cartoonish bullshit ever?
Uh-huh.
Like, I think I saw a TikTok about Fourth Wing, and someone's like, please tell me why I thought this was the Gauntlet, and it was literally like the Wipeout.
Right.
Or it was like a play, like Discovery Zone, or like Chuck E. Cheese, like play set kind of thing, and you're just like crossing over something, like,
right.
bitch, same. And I'm seeing all these AI things of like mountains so far up, like you can't see the fucking ground, there's mist around you. And I'm like, that wasn't what I imagined. Like, that's kind of like how it was here. When I first read it, I was thinking like giant, like, like, you know when cartoons get so surprised and their eyes like pop out?
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, just walking around. There's a movie. It is a terrible fucking movie. I still enjoy it because it is comical, but it's like the Mario Brothers adventure. It's like their live action with like something Leguizamo, or
I wouldn't know anyway.
I can't remember his name. He was in Moulin Rouge. He was in Tu Wong Fu. Like, he was played a drag queen. I don't know. And then like the guy who was in Roger Rabbit, the Eddie, his name, he played Eddie in Roger Rabbit. Anyways, those two characters are in there. They're live action Mario and Luigi. And there's like the Koopas from the Mario world are like 7 foot tall, like tiny little ass like pebble heads and like giant beefed up bodies. That's what I was imagining, just with like giant fucking spikes through their eyes. And then this time around, I was like, oh, okay, so just a tall, muscular guy in like essentially like a black trench coat with like regular size cylinders sticking out of their eyeballs.
Yeah,
but a little normal.
No, still terrifying. Just the spikes themselves are terrifying. But
you know how Vin closes her eyes and she sees like the metal zooming around and everything? I think that's kind of how it is.
Okay. Like, that's how they see.
Yeah.
Okay, that I guess makes sense. Still freaks me out,
like
but
infrared kind of.
So before I turned the page, I was like, oh fuck, a Steel Inquisitor. Sazed's about to fucking die. Because he makes a comment about how he doesn't have enough jewelry on.
Oh, that's right, I forgot, yeah.
But it's Marsh, who, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, wait, who? And then I was like, oh yeah, and then I had to look it up to make sure that I remembered correctly. But yeah. that's Kelsier's brother, who I forgot about.
I know, I was like, damn, I don't know why I thought Marsh was like gone for good.
Right? Well, and then I thought it was funny.
Visitors went down with the Lord Ruler. I just assumed they all just fucking died.
Like, right? Like they're all just been taken out and hunted down.
Not even. I don't know why I thought like the Lord Ruler thought
it was like wyvern. Like they're all just gonna drop dead when their creator drops dead.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, we ain't gotta worry about these bitches no more.
No.
Apparently,
No.
Marsh is gonna tell us a nice little truth. They're all still here.
Yeah. But I was like, okay. Marsh just says that he's like, you're gonna come with me. We're gonna leave. Like, you're going with me back to Luthadel. We're gonna, we got to figure this out. And Sazed's like, no, this is my post. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And Marsh is like, okay, go get your shit. Let's go. And finally, Sazed's like, fine, let me go explain, and we can leave tonight. And
then
that's
it's funny because he's like he said, the way he says it, he's just like, no, I know, like, this is what you want. You're gonna do it anyways.
right. He's like, let's go.
Like, don't even ask. Like, this is not what you've been craving.
Yeah. And that's the end.
It's ominous. It's like, where are we going? Where are we going?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm looking at this picture you sent me. That's not what mine looks like.
It's not. That's what I see. You look like you're like.
I was fixing my shirt because
You really were, though.
when I first got on, I was fixing my shirt, and then I was like, oh gosh. So I redid the picture, but apparently it didn't update for you. Wonderful.
Solidified in history of my. Anyways, chapter 8.
Chapter 8.
And this is kind of when it's starting to pick up.
Yeah.
It's there's not a lot goes on. It's essentially like she's just trying to test. This entire chapter is essentially just her testing Orser in her new body, mainly because she wants to be an asshole to him.
And she can't figure out why she's being an asshole. Like, she makes a comment at some point. She's like, I don't understand why I want to lose him, but I do.
Yeah. Elend wants her to have him around, like the contract. He just keeps referring to the contract. Like, the contract is here for a reason. Vin, like, just let him tag along. She thinks she can do it by herself. There's discontent there. Whatever.
And I think maybe that's part of it. Like, he is contractually obligated to be there with her.
And maybe she.
I think the Kona ice truck is driving by. I can't see it yet, though. But
we need to work on your acoustics, girl, because damn.
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly what it is. It's the Kona ice truck. Hopefully the dog doesn't hear it.
Mom, I want some colored ice.
He just likes the regular ice. If I go buy a Kona ice, they'll give him an ice ball.
What a husky.
He's spoiled.
What?
But anyway, I wonder if it's partially because later Elend will say something about how, like, I'm not going to abandon you. Like, you don't have to worry.
Fear.
Yeah. And I wonder if that's part of it because she's probably rebelling against the idea that this creature is contractually obligated to her and can't abandon her. Because, I mean, if you think about that, like, would you want somebody around who had to be with you? Like, didn't have a choice in the matter? No.
And I think she made a comment, too, around it, like, if it wasn't for that contract, he wouldn't be here.
Right.
If it wasn't for somebody telling him to do this, that'd be it.
Yeah. And then, so for like the first half of this chapter, it's about her testing him.
And then with her, so
he is.
Her argument is not as valid as it used to be.
Yep, and then the Watcher shows up, and she's chasing the Watcher, and she's still seeing if he will keep up with her.
And here's the thing: if she didn't want him to be around her at all times, Why? Why? Why with the dog?
I think that Elend wanted him to be around her at all times.
Yeah, but like,
And
why this
so
dog to do
I
that?
don't think that she thought he was going to be able to keep up with her.
Bitch, I would have grabbed an old ass person and been like, "Here you go."
Or got the sweeter, smaller dog. Like, you got the
Maybe not
biggest,
keep.
most vicious looking dog there was.
This one's not gonna keep up with me. Bitch, that's a wolf.
Right. Like,
Get
yeah,
a
it
pug.
is.
They'd be tripping over their nose. Like, fuck you.
Right. Get the little dog, the little girly dog that he tried to give you. But no. And also, just above that, I said, still not convinced that the Watcher isn't Kel. Because
See, same.
I'm
I
just not.
honestly, well, and she was doing pretty well with keeping up with him too. And like, it was kind of a game. It wasn't murderous. It wasn't like I'm gonna
Right.
fight this person. It was like a game, like testing her. Can this happen?
Yeah.
And then she's like sitting there trying to figure out. She goes, "Okay, if I go this way, he's gonna think that I lost him, and he's gonna think he won. But he's definitely up here. I know he's up here, kind of thing." But then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna try out my new alloy." While she's burning tin of all things, and the
Yeah.
computer,
Both. She's
she's
burning
burning
tin
everything basically.
because when she burns that fourth metal and it flares all of her, or
All of
14th
her
metal,
metals. Yeah.
and it flares her other metals, the other metals that she's burning, um, she hears what sounds like explosions, um, but it's actually just her, her motherfucker.
Heartbeat.
Her, yeah, it's her heartbeat, and her hearing is so intensified that it sounds like explosions.
And that's why she was blinded for a quick second because she um was burning pin and all of that.
Yeah, and then I was like, I wonder, like, is she going to be able to learn to control it to where it doesn't like burn up her whole reserve? Or is it always going to burn up her whole reserve and she's just going to have to carry a lot of metals with her?
I think it would be cool if she could actually learn how to control it, especially because that's going to teach her a lot of like restraint.
Right. But like, I'm
And,
wondering, is that even
and
possible?
well, and maybe it will always burn it up, like no matter what, and that's the test. Like, how can I utilize a quick burst of whatever power I need in the moment to achieve what I want?
Right.
And so maybe that's the whole idea behind this. It can't just be like a bomb going off and like, all right, cool, there's your burst of energy. Like, that's a waste.
Right. Um, and then the Watcher comes out.
Hi, I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah.
That's like the vibe I was getting. Like, why would he just come out and start talking to her? He's
Honestly.
he's
And
asking questions like, why all of this? So then I was like, that's not Gil's here.
right. Well, and he looked familiar, but she didn't recognize him.
Brown hair, and I was like, is that her fucking brother? It's not her brother. It can't be her brother. Her brother fucking died.
Right. And she would recognize him, right? Like,
That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, who is this person? Dark hair makes me think it's her brother. But how long were they away from each other? Like 3-4 years, and then we find out that like he died because the Inquisitor was trying to reach her, and he protected her and killed himself in the meantime.
right.
Maybe he was in the pits of Halsin, and maybe he got out, and something happened. A metal, like an alloy or whatever, gave him these brand new powers. And I was like, no, I think I'm reaching too far.
Yeah, I don't know who he is, but I feel like he's either going to be someone we've met before or he's going to be connected to someone. Like, he's going to be Kelser's son or something.
Yeah. I was also thinking that maybe there's like a group or like a band of not misfits, but misborns, to where they I don't know, kind of like, you know how the Inquisitors were like a group of people that were all the same thing, like a little band, a little
Right.
posse in a way. Like maybe there's like a Mistborn posse,
And like they're
and
all the Watcher and they take
it's
turns
kind
or
of like when
something.
the Irids came, like they left because they didn't want to be a part of everything. So like they're their own group, doing their own thing
Right.
in their own life. Like maybe that has something to do with it.
Could be. And then Vin and Ursula have this moment, and their relationship is fucking weird. Okay. Um, because she's like, I'm gonna get you a harness for so you can carry me extra vials of metals. And is that Duo?
No, it's a potato chip clip thing, but it looked like Duo.
Okay. Anyway, they have the weird ass relationship, and he's like, no harness is necessary, and he just splits open his fucking shoulder. And it's like,
He just puts it in like a bone cavity.
puts it in the metal, and so she puts it in there, and he closes his shoulder back up over it. And the big advantage to this is that it is inside his body, so mistings and mistborns can't affect it.
I imagined like he just like took the thing, laid it in his collarbone, and was like,
It's fucking gross.
I'm like, okay, great, this is disgusting. Cool.
Yeah, but they just have a really fucking weird relationship. So that's
Relationship.
that's that. And that's the end of chapter 8.
He did say something too about chondras and about how like some of them can utilize like can make things like they can shapeshift without like eating anybody.
Right. Yes.
So that's nerve wracking in and of itself. Like anybody could be fucking
Right.
like somebody could be Vin one day and then the next be over here. So maybe what if this person, this watcher, is actually okay. Listen. Okay. My brain is going so fast right now. What if this guy, this watcher, is actually her brother? Not actually her brother, but somebody who is very similar. And that's why she's like, man, this guy looks so familiar. Like, who is this person?
Oh, okay, yeah, because he's
But
like
maybe,
taken part of her brother's.
yeah, and like in a way to replicate it. Like Avatar the Last Airbender, there's a moment where it's like he's in the spirit realm, and if he makes an emotion, like this god thing can take his face and he loses it forever. And then he utilizes like random faces throughout this person's throughout Aang's like visit or whatever. So what if he doesn't necessarily know how Vin's brother looked appropriately, but like maybe he like created like a boyish version of Vin mixed with the brother to kind of gain that familiarity. But it's actually a chondra, and we don't.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that in a little bit.
Okay. Chapter 9. I literally only wrote one thing about this whole chapter because it was really short.
Listen, Sazed's having a midlife crisis here in terms of what he wants to do with his life. He's a terraceman, so he's supposed to like teach people. He's supposed to hold knowledge and teach people.
Yeah.
He really wants to go fight the rebellion. That's all he wants to do.
Yeah. And he just keeps talking about how
Honey,
he's always a rebel. Like, and
the rebels.
again, Marsh is like, you're going back to Luthadel when we're done here. And Sazed's like, okay. But I basically was just like, I'm glad Sazed's coming back. That's basically all I wrote for all of chapter 9.
I know, as soon as I read that, I was like, Brandy's gonna be happy Sazed's coming back.
I love him. I don't know why, but I do.
He's the keeper of all knowledge.
That's fair. Sounds like a job I would enjoy.
Teach me about this. Well, see, that's why you just go up to him. He tells you about all of that. And then you're like, cool. If you want to keep it, you can keep it. If not, all right. Walk away, come back the next day, tell me something else.
Then I feel like I want to be him. Like, I want his power.
Then he maybe could teach you. I don't know. We don't know a lot about it. We know a little bit. We know the idea. But.
Chapter 10. It's cute that Elend thought he had a say in his protection. Because they're like...
I'm just really annoyed with this chapter because, like, we're at the assembly, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like a giant board meeting.
Shit show. Board meeting is right. Like, he tries to say something and everyone just starts yelling and throwing a fit. That board meeting is absolutely right. Especially when it's like the public board meeting with the whole, everybody from the neighborhood.
Oh my god, or like an HOA, like, end of year meeting. Like,
that's what I mean, yeah.
It's like, sorry, you wanted all of these things right.
Or they're, yeah, and then they're bitching about stuff and you're like,
Okay, you want to save, like, $100,000? All right, cool. Well, you just lost your on-site management. You want to save even more? Cool. You just lost your landscape committee, or your landscape over here. Cool. You want to save even more? Cool. You don't have any insurance. All right? Sweet. Go bitch to somebody else that gives a fuck.
Right, or they're like, well, his fence is taller than mine, and his got approved, and their shed is bigger than... Like, fuck off.
Right. Karen, you going out there and measuring the millimeters? Damn.
Probably. People are psycho. But that is what this gives. That is the vibes that this situation gives.
Like 24 men, King Elend, with public people there, and they're all bitching about what to do with this army.
Yes, and they're having trouble agreeing. So, like, the assembly is made up of what? It's like 8 noblemen, or 12 noblemen.
It's 8 noblemen, 8 merchants, 8...
And 8 ska.
Yeah.
Ska yeah, that's right. And so they all 3 obviously have very different ideas of what they want to happen.
Noblemen want to beg for mercy. Merchants want to go with whatever's going to make them more money. And Ska's like, are you fucked up?
Right. And Elend is like, I just am asking you for some time. But Elend is a good man. Like, he's just
good to a fault.
Good, yeah. And like,
he wants what's best for everybody. He wants to theoretically do all of these things, but it's not. And I think, I don't know if it was you I was saying this to, or like Will, but it's kind of like that. It's not Marxism, but it's like some approach. I think Bernie Sanders was talking about it a lot, but it's like the approach where, ideally, theoretically, everything makes so much sense. It divides the powers up, so it's equal among everybody, regardless of background, education, whatever. It's equal for like the basic needs kind of stuff. Yeah. But when in practice, it falls apart because things don't run like that. Like, you have to. I am so itchy. I have like 3 mosquito bites. I'm feeling them. It's like theoretically it's great, but when in practice it falls apart. Like, America, everything has ran on commercialized products. This whole agenda thing is just not. It wouldn't work without a lot of overhaul. Yeah. So, and I think that's kind of like where he's coming from. He wants all of these things to be as equal as possible, make sure everybody's a nobleman. I honestly think they just need to get rid of the nobleman thing. Everyone is a citizen and be fucking done with it. Especially, right. Like, if that's like the vibe you're going for, you have a committee, you have the assembly, like, you have all these things. If that's the case, then you need to yeet people off. Yeah. Also, why is your assembly so large?
It is a very large assembly, but it's probably because there were 8 houses. because there was like house venture, house whatever, house whatever. So there were probably 8 houses. Instead of fighting about which nobleman was going to be on the assembly, he just picked all 8 of them and then picked 8 merchants and 8 ska to even everything
You
out.
you want to be on this committee? Are you gonna be nice to them? No. Okay. No.
Yeah.
Go back.
Um, but that's why I say Elend is a good man, like, and good to a fault, because like he does try to make it even and equal, and he tries to give the ska a voice and the merchants a voice and really make it a more inclusive kingdom.
Yeah.
But like these are men and people with egos, and
Money too. They come in like
yeah,
they had it prior, and the Scott's like, I'm not trying to go back. Like I want what's better, and they're just like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. And it's like, no, it won't, bitch.
right. Well, and this dick is like on page 100 to 101 is just being super pessimistic, and
Island or something like that.
Lord Penrod.
Oh, he's okay. I don't understand him. I don't know where to gauge him because he was so pessimistic throughout the entire assembly meeting, and then at the end he was like, you know what? Let's do this, and it's like, where the fuck was this at the beginning?
Yeah, because he is like, we all lived here during the Lord Ruler's reign. We all know what kind of man your father is. If he wants this city, he is going to take it. Thus, all we can decide is how best to give up. Perhaps we can find a way for people to retain some freedom under his rule. That's
Okay.
very pessimistic, first of all.
Second of all, you just said that we lived under this. We know what kind of father you're like he is, or like what kind of man your father is. Don't you
We're
think that
not
he would
going back to that.
probably be like a Lord Ruler? Like maybe.
Right. Like, you don't, do you want to go back to that and live in fear and not be able to, like, just, no. I mean, yes, he probably does because his life,
Noble.
right, wasn't that different than it is now. So, like, ugh. But then, Vin is like, or, well, they do their vote or whatever, and they agree to give him time. But then Vin is like scanning the crowd and doing her thing. Um, and she sees this person, and it's a terrace woman. Um, but she's not like recognizable, and Vin is like, what's happening? Um, and I have thoughts about who she is. Um, that I'll
I'm
come back to
telling
in the
you,
next chapter.
I'm telling you, it's a crazy ass shit. I think it could be the Watcher with multiple fucking faces,
Yeah,
which means he could be a Khandra. That's what I'm saying.
but can Khandras burn metals? Like, can they
I don't
be
know.
Mistborn?
Possibly. I don't know. He straight up just was like, what the fuck was that? I thought I had like a piece of rubber on my shirt, and then it like disintegrated weirdly, and then it makes me wonder what it was.
Interesting.
Like a bug.
Um,
It disintegrated like a bug.
ew. Uh, I wonder if instead of it being a Khandra, if it, I have a friend named Kandra, and it's spelled just like this, so I'm really struggling to say Khandra. Anyway, um,
You have a friend? That's not.
listen.
No, you listen here. I am your only. I can't even keep it straight.
I'm just Fiona, Chloe.
They don't count. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, what if I feel like maybe the Watchers are like a group of people, and like it's instead of one Watcher, it's like multiple people that are tailing her. I don't know. But also I'm wondering, because of what something that happens in the next chapter, is this terrorist woman actually a Khandra?
Yeah. It could also be the only question is why were they dropped there specifically? But I also wonder too if you know how I was saying like there's like a group of these Mistborn that like went away a long time ago and they like not moved back, but they're like living within something.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe it's like terrorist people and like Mistborns living together. I also there's always these little snippets at the beginning of these episode these chapters,
Chapters.
and they're talking about a guy named Elendi.
Yeah.
He could be Elendi, I guess.
The Watcher, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then go back with the terrorist woman being like a Chandra.
I kind of get the vibe that Alendi might be dead, though. But we don't know. Like, we have no idea.
I mean, we all thought the fucking Lord Ruler dude was dead, and clearly it wasn't.
True. True.
Like the guy from the snippets of before he was Lord Ruler. That's a better way to word that.
Yeah. And then to finish out this chapter, Vin is still kind of freaked out by this lady. Elend's trying to distract her. And then all of a sudden, a soldier comes up and lets them know that there's a second army outside the city. And like, at first I was like, what the fuck? Who? Like, what the fuck is happening? But also very convenient that all of a sudden we've just forgotten about that woman. Because we didn't notice her for no reason. Okay? Like,
yeah. That person's important.
Yes.
Maybe it's like in Darna's like relationship line thing and was like, I'm gonna take Sazed back. And
Wait,
I'm gonna
what
teach
the
him what
fuck?
Leothin.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Like,
I
not
understand.
her dad, but like direct
Got
line,
you.
kind of like maybe it's something similar to that, and she'll be like, I'm taking Sazed back to show him his true potential as a terroristman.
Maybe. But
Probably.
that is chapter 10. Chapter 11 is the last chapter of part 1, so we're going to go ahead and push through it. Plus,
Honestly,
I don't have a whole lot for it.
This is where it gets good.
It is. It is. They're up on the wall, like, looking at this army, right? And then all of a sudden, this person on a horse, like, leaves that new army and is taking off towards Luthadel. And is being chased by archers. And Spook, who is a Tenai, right, is like, it's Breeze. Or is it Vin that says it's Breeze?
I think they both do it.
Anyway, regardless, whoever, excuse me, they realize that it's Breeze. And Vin decides that now is the time to experiment with this new alloy.
That's why I said she's the main character. She does that shit.
Yeah, she's just like, here we go. No, we haven't practiced with it. We haven't nothing. We're just gonna try it. And it does work because she's a fucking badass.
Honestly, I was very impressed. Like, we don't see how well Vin has progressed with her training. We don't know any of it. All we know is 2 years ago she started training with Kelsier, but a year ago Kelsier had passed. So it's like, how well is she actually learning? And she kicks some fucking ass. And it's kind of nice too that she like thought on the whim that she's like, oh, this was like a sudden burst, so if I'm careful with this and it's not going to impact me, I have to make sure I'm not burning anything else. And it's smart. It's actually,
it is
not necessarily like well thought through, but it is.
No, it's very quick thinking and spontaneous, but it works.
It's not necessarily, I want to say it's risky, but like I also don't want to say it's risky because it's like,
it's risky. It is risky for sure.
It's risky, but I mean, she kind of had an idea about.
She did. It was a calculated risk for sure.
like, okay, this happened with when I did it the other night. Like, okay, like, let's try it again.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's like, she uses it to catapult herself towards these people. She uses it to pull, to push, to like yank everybody away, and to essentially save Breeze from like
Death.
getting murdered. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she like was a fucking badass about it. And then all of a sudden they just see her and they're like, nah, this is a bigger threat. We're gonna fuck this bitch up
Yep.
first. And then
And
they
then,
start drawing the arrows on her, and then she just does the best fucking like reverse guard move ever.
yep,
Amazing.
she really does.
She like
And
go ahead. You can
no, go
explain
ahead.
it. Oh, okay. So she essentially takes her she takes her Dalu whatever Delu something. She takes her new metal that she has swallowed, and then she's like, okay, the piece de resistance is now. So she essentially uses the metal on on this army and pushes away with just a little bit of that hint of a blast. Catapults these fucking men and their horses and everything away.
Yep.
And she just like, okay, here I come, Breeze. Here I am.
Yeah. And then I have missed him. I have missed Breeze
Oh my
because
god, yeah.
page
Breeze
110 into
I've
111,
been needing.
he's just so fucking sassy. He's like, ah, Vin, my dear, I must say that was a timely arrival on your part. Impressively flamboyant as well. I do hate to force a rescue, but, well, if one is necessary, then it might as well happen with style.
I'm telling you, he's like the gay best friend.
He really is.
Like, he's the gay person that everybody wants in their life.
He's also a fucking wild card. Because
He's smart about it, though. He's smart about it.
He is. But he's the reason that the army is here. And he is the one that has been spreading the rumors about the ATM being in Luthadel. And it's just all been his plan.
However, it's a smart plan because he is essentially...
It is. Once he explains it, it makes a lot of sense.
He's essentially made both of the armies, both as powerful as they can be,
yep,
come together at a stalemate. So,
yeah.
If they can't come to a conclusion about what to do with the city, then whoever the city sides with is going to be the more powerful one. So it just stops everybody, and they have to reevaluate everything.
Yes. Exactly. Which is, it's really smart on his part, and
it gives them more time.
Yeah.
Not enough time, but enough for right now.
And for some reason, Vin is not wanting to talk about Orsor being the dog in public. She kind of wants to keep that to just the inner crew. I feel like that's going to be important with what we read about next, because Ellen's like, why didn't we tell them? And she's like, I'm just waiting to tell them when it's like we're in a more appropriate place.
Yeah, and not like out and about. I think too. Honestly, I don't even know if she'd actually like say anything to anybody after what we hear next.
But. Well, and he kind of makes that point. He's like, if you haven't been able to trust people in a long time, and it's hard to start trusting people. But in this instance, I think it actually is going to work in her favor, because we learn about a corpse in Lady Vin's room.
I was like, corpse? What corpse? What are you talking about?
Yeah, like, what the fuck is happening? No. But yeah, it's the bones that Orsor left when he ate the dog. Like, it's his leftovers.
Is it the dog's leftovers? Or
no.
Is it the
person.
Yeah, but like the servant that he had
that
eaten.
he had eaten. Yeah, it's the bones left from his old body.
Like he regurgitated that once he got into his new body.
Yeah, I imagine this like transition happening by him turning into like a creepy like blob creature and like absorbing
Yeah, I see that.
the new bones. I know it's
It's
not
like
how it works, I'm sure, but that's
just think of it like the have you seen Hotel Transylvania?
yes.
Like where Blobby gets like one thing pushed into him and then another thing pops out.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm imagining, except like bloody.
A little bit more terrifying, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But
Um,
what's suspicious is the second set of bones that were found.
yes. They were found in Keep Venture and they're
They were
like
discarded.
hidden in like a closet, like, and at first I was like, oh fuck, it could be anyone. And then Vin starts thinking about it and I'm like, oh fuck, it's probably one of the crew.
Yeah.
And I feel like the most heartbreaking one would be Spook. So that's probably who it is.
And that would mean that would explain why he's speaking so well.
And why he hasn't been around, like.
Yeah. And it something else.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's just gonna read. It's so funny. Anyways, it's kind of terrifying. It could be Spook, but it could also be Ham. It could also be Clubs. It could
It,
also I don't think it's Breeze because like Breeze has been with them the whole fucking time. But like
right, but it could be any of the others.
yeah. So it's what the fuck is happening kind of thing. So
Yeah.
but that is the end of part 1, The Heir of the Survivor. Next is part 2, Ghosts in the Mist. So the age-old question, what the fuck did Vin see that night? Yeah. And so, until next time.
Bye.